When people think of franchising, oftentimes the first thing that comes to mind is Subway, McDonald's, Great Clips, the name brands that are a part of franchising, but there's really a whole lot more to the franchise space than just these big name retail concepts. Over the past handful of years, we've had the opportunity to place folks in a mobile pet grooming franchise, in a mental health counseling franchise. We've placed folks in health and beauty and window washing and physical therapy concepts. All that to say, there is incredibly diverse variety in the franchising space. We love working with all sorts of different prospective franchise owners in our process. Over the past couple of years, we've had the opportunity of working with a couple out in Colorado, and they were a husband and wife team that wanted to build a family business to integrate their work, their life, their faith, their family all into one business. And they've actually brought their two daughters in their mid-20s into this business. They do home reorganization and home redesign, specifically with drawers in the kitchen, and that was a really good fit for them. Then on the other side of the country, I worked with an individual coming out of the tech space in Boston who wanted to run something as an additional income stream versus buying a job or doing something on a full-time owner-operator basis. And he ended up buying multiple units of a physical therapy and balance center franchise in the Boston metro area that he kept his job, his wife kept her job, but they run it as an additional income stream for their family. And then even more recently here in the Cincinnati area, I placed a woman in her mid-40s who wanted to create a place where people felt welcomed, that they felt warmth, that was definitely part of her personality, and even a place to hire her young children as they started to get into high school age. And she bought a milkshake and ice cream franchise that can really be that hub for her family and for her community. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. It really depends on how you define success as a potential franchise owner. The one piece I do want to emphasize here is just because you're passionate about the product or service does not mean that it's going to be a good fit for you as a business owner. I came out of school and I knew I loved football. That was my passion. I was going to follow my passion. So I worked for the Indianapolis Colts and I worked for Sports Illustrated. But what I found is I didn't like the long hours. I didn't think I was being compensated really to the point that was going to make sense for me and my family going forward. And yeah, I loved working at places like Lucas Oil Stadium, but on a Sunday afternoon, I didn't want to be working anymore, even though I was really passionate about the product that was going on the field. So I transitioned into the franchising space. Look, I love franchising, but on a Saturday, I'm playing with my son, I'm hanging out with my wife, I'm watching sports or playing golf. That's what I'm passionate about, but I haven't made a career out of it. A question people come to us pretty frequently with is, what makes a good franchisee? What is the professional background? What does the resume of a franchisee typically look like? And it has nothing to do with what you've done in the past, and it has everything to do with one thing and one thing only, and that's hunger. There are all sorts of franchise systems out there. There are franchise systems for engineers, for stay-at-home moms, for business development professionals. It has less to do with what you've done in the past and more to do with what you're hungry to do in the future. What the numbers say is, out of 100 people who look at buying a franchise, one of those 100 end up pulling the trigger and buying. So then the question becomes, out of those 100, who makes the 99 and who makes the 1? And what we found from the 1 out of that 100 that end up buying is they are so crystal clear and determined to achieve success, whether that success is more time with family, monetary success, building up an entity for resale value and being able to exit 10 years down the road. They're willing to take on the grind and the risk that is business ownership and make it happen. So again, it's not as much about what you've done in the past or a skill set you've had or a degree from a certain college. It's all about the hunger that you have to succeed, and then it's a matter of finding you the system that can set you up to succeed and make that happen. Feel free to schedule a conversation in my calendar link, or if you'd like, you can shoot me a text or give me a call at 513-787-2170.